Hi, I'm Chris Lewis, firefighter for the Lakeville Fire Department, and welcome to another edition of On Call. The goal of this program is to educate and inform the residents of Lakeville about how their all-volunteer fire department trains in response to emergencies. Let's take a look at what's coming up on this edition of On Call. I head out to a unique training session with the Lakeville Police Department and find out the role of firefighters if there is ever a hostile event in the city. Fire Chief Mike Meyer will join us for another edition of Chief's Corner. Firefighter John Pollock answers a viewer's question in Ask the Firefighter. Then I will highlight some recent activity here at the fire department. And we wrap things up with Scratch the Fire Dog as he learns about Heart Restart and how to perform hands-only CPR. Today we're participating in a very interesting training with the Lakeville Police Department. Joining me is Officer Kevin O'Neill. Kevin, thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So I'll tell you, why don't you tell me what we're doing today?
Well, today what we're involved with is something called hostile event training. What we've done is we've come out here to the Scale facility. It's a training center in Scott County. It's actually some repurposed old county buildings that they use for law enforcement and fire rescue training. Specifically, what we're working on is something called hostile event training. It's not exactly just the typical active shooter in a building type training. What it is, it's a little bit more encompassing, and it involves the cooperation not of just the police department, but some work with some other agencies as well.
Who else will be joining us on this?
Well, we've had some folks from the dispatch center, so they can kind of get a feel for how a major incident like this might work.
Okay.
We've also had folks from Alina EMS out here, but mainly a lot of folks from the Lakeville Fire Department. The general idea is if we had a major event where we had some type of explosion, a major situation where there was a lot of injuries, maybe a tornado went through a commercial structure, or that typical call that we hear about maybe sometimes in the news that's very unfortunate these days, but an active shooter in a building, it's definitely going to involve a response from all of those different disciplines. So the main focus of this training is how we all work together in those important minutes at the beginning of any of these scenes.
So why don't you maybe give me a quick overview of a scenario that we might be doing today?
Well, one of the things that we've gone through here today, we've had the officers set up and simulate a response to a gunman inside a building. The officers make that initial response, and just like on the scene, there's going to probably be that first lone officer there. They practice going in, approaching the scene, and then working together with their backup as they arrive. They practice some of the simple and quick plans that we teach them to formulate an effective response. And then later on into the scenario is where we incorporate some of the emergency rescuers, where we've been able to secure a building, make it safe, and then bring in the fire department. And we use a team approach to have the rescuers be accompanied into the building under the safety of police, and then quickly evaluate and evacuate any injured people.
Yeah, and I noticed that we are using real people for victims, and we are using very real sounding simulated rounds and stuff like that too.
We're using a special munition that shoots paint rounds, but it's out of the same weapons that the officers will shoot and handle on the street. That way it keeps the realism and allows them to use the same holsters and other gear. We're also using blank rounds out of a shotgun, so when these things go off, you know it. It's loud, you can feel it in your body. All that simulation is as realistic as we can get it. The main point that we get at here, though, today is that we're trying and we're training everyone to get away from maybe some of the older style philosophy that law enforcement and fire rescue would use, where the scene had to be safe and secure, 100% cleared by the police department or a SWAT team before any of the emergency rescuers could come in and start administering aid. The concept now is that there are ways in which we can effectively and quickly search and maybe even cordon off certain parts of that building, establish that they're safe for the rescuers to come in, and then have a consistent plan in which the rescuers, fire department, EMS, can be assisted by the police, and we can come in those very important first minutes, start making evacuations of anybody that's injured.
Okay, and then that's where we come in, right? Is that we don't engage with anything or anybody, right? We are purely just to start getting people out.
It's a quick way to make the scene safe so that we can get you guys in the very first minutes, whereas in the past, many times, we would wait until the building was more thoroughly checked. Our design is not to put the fire department, the paramedics in any type of specific danger from a gunman or an explosive, but it definitely eliminates a lot of those to get you into the building a lot sooner than we used to. The role of the fire department here is to help evaluate injured people and quickly evacuate the injured people. Studies have shown, unfortunately, that in some of these cases that have gone on in the past, the injuries suffered by these people, if they were tended to a little more quickly, might have resulted in them surviving. We're trying to affect that with some positive training that should something like that ever happen here in Lakeville, we can impact that and give these people the best shot at getting out of that building.
There's definitely a lot of advantages because I know we don't train together very often as fire and police department.
And we always enjoy that good working relationship here in Lakeville, and we're on that same team as it relates to public safety. But you're right, there's a lot of things that the police department does that's exclusive to police and vice versa with the fire department. So working together is important because this is the type of training where our jobs really will overlap.
Yeah, and I've enjoyed this training so far and working with PD and stuff like that. Will there be further trainings like this?
Well, I think with this, we've got several of these set to try and get as many members of the police department and the fire department trained together on this same tactic. And certainly, I think as time goes on, there's always going to be more opportunities for us to work together. So hopefully this opens up a good door in that realm.
All right, fantastic. Well, thanks for joining us today and explaining what we're doing here. And hopefully we never have to use something like this.
Amen. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Would you do this in your home? How about this? And you certainly wouldn't do this. Then why would you do this? Careless smoking is the #1 cause of fire fatalities. You can protect your family and your home from fire. Visit GetYourButtOutside.com. Brought to you by the Minnesota State Fire Chiefs Association and the Minnesota Fair Plan.
Hi, my name is John Pollock, a firefighter out of Station 3, and today's Ask the Firefighter question is from Andy in Eden Prairie, and Andy wants to know, what are the top 10 leading causes of a house fire? Thanks for your question, Andy. Well, I'm no David Letterman, I'll do my best. Coming in at number 10, fireplaces and barbecue grills. Keep them clean and checked for issues often, and keep them attended while in use. Number 9, flammable liquids. It is important that you store any fuels, solvents, cleaning agents, or any other combustible solutions in a cool, well-ventilated area and far away from any heating sources. Number 8, holiday decorations. Nothing safer than a drying tree wrapped in electrical cords, right? Number 7, clothes dryers. Always be sure to clean the lint trap for your clothes dryer after each use to avoid buildup, and reserve the dryer for clothing that is especially designed to be machine dried. Number 6, children playing with fire. Keep matches and lighters far away from a child's reach. Number 5, candles. Be sure you don't leave them unattended for any period of time or completely forget about them altogether. Electrical appliances and wiring. Double check your appliances for loose frayed cords. Brush up on your knowledge of electrical cord safety. Number 3, irresponsible smoking. Many of these fires are from people falling asleep while smoking. Number 2, space or portable heaters. Always keep them at least 3 feet from anything flammable and avoid using them as a way to dry off any materials. And the number 1 cause of house fires? Distracted cooks and neglected cookware. Do not wander off while cooking. An overheating pot or grease splattering pan can easily lead to a kitchen fire. Keep towels, rags, oven mitts, and any other combustible materials away from heat sources as well. Thanks, Andy, for your question. If you have a question for Ask the Firefighter, send it to us using the information on the screen.
Welcome to another edition of Lakeville Fire Chiefs Corner. I'm here with Engineer Brian Cluck from Station 1, and we're going to cover what we're doing today at Monday morning training. with our new tender. Welcome to the show, Brian.
Thank you.
Can you tell us a little bit what's happening behind us today?
What we're doing with our day training firefighters is we are working on pumping and drafting and tender operations. Essentially what we're doing is when we get out into the county and we get into an area that's non-hydrant, we will be using these drop tanks here to hold water. Basically what they are is big swimming pools. Each one holds about 1,500 gallons of water, and it allows us to keep water in a holding pond while we're working on a structural fire. With our big tender here, what it allows us to do is shuttle that water from hydrant areas to non-hydrant areas where we have this tank set up. So we always have mobile water, again, for areas that don't have hydrants.
Okay, so what is the engine here, what are they doing from the tank?
Right now what they are doing is they are working on what we call a drafting operation. They're essentially pulling water out of the drop tanks through the black hard suction line there into the pump, and then they are pumping into another truck, which they are relay pumping into the second truck right now.
Okay. And as the tender pulls away, they're going to head out to a hydrant and then they come back. Is there a tank that they fill first, or does it make a difference?
On this particular setup, we just kind of fill whichever one is getting the lowest. If you notice here in between the two tanks, we have a transfer tube. That allows us with this particular engine to transfer water back from one tank to the other, so we don't need to switch back and forth from each tank as we're drafting water.
That comes pretty crucial when you're out in the country and you need water. That we've got 3,000 sitting here, plus the tankers rolling through.
It does. If we have these tanks full, we have our tanker or tender on the road, and if we're running mutual aid or assisting with other agencies, we can have many thousands of gallons in rotation on the road at a time, so we can get water to critical areas where we need it.
Brian, I noticed that there's rubber balls floating in each of the tanks. Can you tell us kind of why we have those just versus having them floating around in there?
Yeah, Mike, they kind of look like a toy, but the balls do serve a purpose. When these tanks start to get low, the draft siphon starts to form a venturi around it, and it'll actually start to pull in air, and the last thing we want to do is get air inside of the pump. We'll lose our draft, and we'll lose our ability to pump water. That ball, what it does is it'll fall into that venturi and keep the water, or keep the air from going inside of the pump.
Yep, that's pretty crucial when you got people inside. You don't want to have any water or air going into the pump. They'll lose pressure.
We don't want to lose our prime, especially if we've got people inside of a building when we have a working fire.
All right. This is kind of the training that we do in the summertime when it's warm out versus the wintertime. It's hard to do this type of training. So today happens to be a nice hot day, so it's fun to play in the water also. Thanks, Brian, for coming to another edition of Chief's Corner, and let's enjoy the heat today.
You're welcome, Mike. Thank you.
Picking up thrown away refuse, walking. We be trash walking, helping Mama Nature look clean. Walking. We be trash walking, if I can do it, you can too. Do some trash walking by recycling for your community and yourself.
Now let's take a look at some recent activity around the fire department. At a recent city council meeting, LFD recognized firefighter Phil Liebfried on his retirement from the fire department. Phil started his career back in April of 1991 at Station 3 and ended it at Station 2 with over 21 years of fire experience. He volunteered his time with being on several board committees, attending almost every public service event such as the Fire Open House, Mock Crash, and Night to Unite events, and was the original member to have started the annual Waffle Breakfast fundraiser for LFD. Phil's leadership and experience will be missed, but we congratulate him on his retirement from the fire department. Also at the same council meeting was the swearing in of 2011 rookie class. They took the oath of office, which marks them moving from being probationary firefighters in the department. Family members were able to pin their badge on their uniform during the ceremony. Congratulations to all 13 members of the class on becoming members of the department. Chief Mike Meyer presented the fire department's first quarter report to the City Council recently. Here are some of the statistics from his report. Incident numbers are right in line with previous years. LFD's goal is to spread call volumes as evenly between the stations as possible. This spring, LFD accepted applications for a new rookie class here at the fire department to fill positions at stations 1 and 3. From the initial pool of candidates, 12 took part in some agility testing in mid-June. From those 12, 5 were invited to start their training to be firefighters here at LFD. Thank you for all that participated in the process, and congratulations to our new 2013 rookie class. LFD responded to a vehicle fire near the intersection of County Road 46 and Kenrick Avenue in late May. When fire personnel arrived, they found the car fully engulfed, and crews worked quickly to extinguish the fire. No injuries were reported in the incident. In mid-June, LFD responded to a pair of house fires in the city. The first was a fire at a house on Huntington Path in northern Lakeville. It appears that the fire started in the laundry room. Although the fire did not spread throughout the entire house, there was substantial smoke damage to the building. No injuries were reported in the incident. The next day, LFD responded to a report of a garage fire at a residence on 166th Street, also in the northern part of town. When first responders arrived, there were large flames coming from the garage, which had spread to the attic of the house. Firefighters worked quickly to control the fire, but substantial damage occurred to much of the structure. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. While there were no civilians injured, 3 firefighters were hurt during the incident, and they were treated and released at the scene. And that is some of the latest activity around the fire department.
This is a Scratch the Fire Dog, here for this month's Kids Corner, and hey, I'm gonna find out all about how to do CPR and find out what an AED is from my good friend, paramedic Patti. And oh, there she is over there! Oh, Patti! Hey, Patti, it's me, Scratch the Fire Dog. How are you?
Hi, Scratch. It's good to see you again.
Oh, it's good to see you too, Patti, and I'm so excited to talk to you about CPR and AED. It's very exciting. Maybe after a while we can talk about CPAs too.
Sure, you bet.
So what are you going to show me here? Who is this person here without the shirt on?
Well, this is Annie. Annie is the person that we learn how to do CPR on. Do you know what CPR stands for?
Chocolate personal rider.
No, that's not quite it.
Okay.
CPR stands for cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Oh. Really big words.
Yeah.
But it's something that we can teach you to help save someone's life if they have problems with their heart.
Okay, well, how do you know if that the person is having problems with their heart?
Well, that's a really good point, because you don't want to do CPR on someone that doesn't need it. Yeah. So there's a really simple way we can do that.
Okay.
Let's say we're walking down the aisle in the grocery store and all of a sudden somebody collapses right in front of us.
Like that?
Just like that.
Okay, I'm just role-playing and not really collapsing.
Oh, so, thank goodness.
Yes.
So the first thing that we want to do to make sure that they're okay is we kind of go by their shoulders and we shake and shout and say, hey, can you hear me?
Hey, Annie, can you hear me?
No, there's no response.
No response.
So if there's no response, we need to get help.
We've got to jump to action.
Yes.
We want to save this person.
That's right, but we need lots of help. So the first thing we're gonna do is you point to that guy in the blue shirt over there and say, I want you to go call 911.
Hey, you in the shirt over there, call 911 and be lickety-split about it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that lady in the yellow shirt over there, we're gonna say, I need you to go get the AED.
Oh, hey, you lady there, go and get the DEA. Oh, no, the AED, that's it. Yeah, it's in the little box over there in the wall that has the shape of a heart on it.
There you go.
Cool.
And then you and I are gonna do CPR.
Oh dear, I've never done CPR before. Do you think I could do it?
Yes, you will do very good.
All right.
So it's very, very simple. All we do is put the heel of one hand in the middle of the chest.
Okay.
And we put the other hand right on top, and see how I lock take my fingers, I'm gonna go lean right over that person and push hard and fast in the middle of the chest.
Oh, now is there
And that's all we have to do.
Now, is there a particular rate that you should do that? Should you do it fast? How do you know how fast you should do it?
You should push at least 100 times a minute, so it's fast.
Yeah.
And we need to push hard because we need to push at least 2 inches. But you know what? There's a really good song that can help you remember how fast to do compressions.
I know, Burning Love by Elvis Presley.
No, I don't think that one's it.
No?
But you can go to your favorite disco song from the 1970s.
Oh.
And that will give you the beat of 100 compressions a minute.
I thought maybe we could do Help by the Beatles.
Oh, well, that would be a good title, though,
Yeah.
yes. But no, that's not it.
So it's more like dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun,
Yes.
dun-dun-dun.
And
Cool.
then just listen, get that song in your head and push hard and fast. And you want to do this until someone comes and helps you and they take over. And then when the police arrive, they'll come in and help you in the ambulance, and then we'll take the person to the hospital.
Can I
and
try,
and
Patti?
get them
Can I try
better.
this?
Yes,
All
yes.
right,
I
let's
think
see.
that's very good. Do you want to go from the very beginning and make sure that we shake and
Oh, sure.
shout? So it's
Hey, are you awake? Hey,
Oh, no, there's no response.
non-responsive.
You go call 911.
Hey, you, call 911.
And
You
you get-
lady, yeah, you get the AED machine off the wall.
Yes.
All right, now I start doing the compressions here.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
There you go.
Well, here
now
we go.
push hard and fast and sing disco.
Hey, staying
Hey.
alive, you're gonna staying alive. I'm gonna keep you alive, keep you alive.
Yay, that was excellent, Scratch.
I'm so tired. How could we do that forever?
It's very tiring. Everybody gets tired, but that's why you yelled for help, because
Yeah.
you want other people to be able to come and help you. So
Very good
That
enough.
was awesome.
No, when I'm pumping this thing, I'm pumping it till the person with the AED shows up, right? Because that really will help them, right?
Yes, CPR is very important, but the AED is important too. Do you want to see how that works?
Of course.
Okay. So this is an AED.
And what does AED stand for?
It stands for Automated External Defibrillator.
Oh.
So what that means is we're going to kind of just deliver a shock to that person's heart.
Okay.
To see if we can get that heart to go back and beat just like it was before.
And that's called their natural rhythm, right?
That's right.
Or NR for short.
Yeah, very good. Yay,
I
you're
like all
getting
these
it.
abbreviations.
Okay, so with the AED,
Yeah.
see the pictures on the pads?
Oh, I do see that, yeah.
Yes, so that's how we put them on there. So we actually peel this off.
Ooh, they're sticky.
Yes.
What if
and
this is a
put one
hairy-chested
here.
person? Are you going to rip the hairs off their chest?
Well, that would do it, but you know what? These AEDs have little razors in them.
Oh.
So you can actually take the razor and shave the hair off before you put the pad on.
Yeah.
Then the pad works really
Well, that's
good.
very important for a furry dog like me.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. You should carry your razor.
Okay.
All right. So we turn the machine on.
Yeah?
Analyzing rhythm.
Ooh, it talks to
Everyone
us.
Stand clear.
Now what do we do?
Shock advised.
Oh.
Charging.
Hey, it's telling us step by step what to do.
Make sure you don't touch the person.
Everyone stand.
And we're going to push the flashing button.
Okay.
Shock delivered. Begin 5 cycles of CPR.
So now we
Oh,
go
look at
back
he
to
jumped.
CPR. And we keep doing that until the machine tells us to stop CPR, and then it will see if the person needs another shock.
Okay, Patti, my big question for you is this. Who are the prime candidates that suffer cardiac arrest? Is it mainly older people?
Well, you know, Scratch, a lot of people think that, but actually, sudden cardiac arrest, it doesn't matter what age you are.
Yeah.
You could be as young as 12, out running on the soccer field, or maybe 16 and you're playing basketball, and all of a sudden you collapse. And that can be sudden cardiac arrest. So it's really important that everybody learn how to do CPR. And you know what? You can learn in the city of Lakeville.
No, you're kidding. How could we do that?
We can teach you really easy. There's a program in Lakeville called Lakeville Heart Restart. And if you go to the city's website and search for Lakeville Heart Restart, you will find out all the information you need to know about us. We can actually come and we'll bring our little Annies and we'll bring our little AEDs and we'll teach you how to do CPR. It doesn't matter what age you are. If you can't push hard enough on the chest, it's okay, because you'll still know how to call 911 and you'll know we need someone to get the AED. Our classes are free. They can be anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour, and ever since we started in 2010, we've trained over 9,000 people in Lakeville in CPR. So Lakeville is a super safe city to live in, and we want to train more and more people as time goes on.
Well, Patti, thank you so much for that important information and showing me all of this great stuff with resuscitating. So, folks, until the next time, this is a Scratch the Fire Dog, because I like to scratch out the fires. Hey, we'll see you next time on Kids Corner. Oh, poor Andy.
Thanks for joining us for this edition of On Call. If you have questions, comments, an idea for the program, or would like to send a question in for Ask the Firefighter, please call 952-985-4700 or use the email address at the bottom of your screen. Thanks for joining us, and all fire units are clear.